The pickleball paddle market just crossed $400 million. 2 years ago, it was at $152 million. That's 163% growth in under 3 years. And Selkirk, Jula, and Engage are spending millions. Actual millions on professional endorsements and influencer deals to make sure you associate those logos with winning. You know who pays for all of that? You do? At the register. Every single time. Here's the thing nobody in this industry wants to say out loud. USAPA approval is not a floor. For 95% of players below a 4.5 rating, it is the ceiling of what actually matters on the court. Every paddle on this list passed the exact same standardized performance thresholds as anything retailing at $200. We're going through all 7 in order with real prices, sold prices. Starting right now with number 7. Number 7 is the Amazin Aces Signature, about $35. Fiberglass face, polymer honeycomb core, 7.8 to 8.2 ounces, generous sweet spot. Amazin Aces was the first brand to aggressively price fiberglass under $40, forcing bigger brands to create entry-level lines. That fiberglass face flexes on impact, increases dwell time, and gives you more control over placement. Ideal for 2.5 to 3.5 players. Specialty retailers earn 30 to 50% margin on premium paddles versus 10 to 15 on this one. That's why you've never heard it recommended. $95. That's the gap between this paddle and the Paddletech Bantam. If those numbers just recalibrated something for you, hit like right now. And if you want the remaining 6 paddles without the algorithm burying this video on you, subscribe and turn on notifications. We're just getting started. Number 6 is the Rally Meister, around $40. Graphite face, Nomex honeycomb core. Nomex was developed by DuPont in the 1960s for aerospace and military use. The same fire-resistant material in NASCAR driver suits. The Rally Meister copies the exact architecture of the Onyx ZZ5, which retails at $90 for less than half the price. Users on our Pickleball and TalkPickleball.com have documented comparable feel on power shots. The Z5's dominance comes from systematic influencer seeding. The Rally Meister has zero marketing budget. That is the only reason you've never heard of it. Number 5 is the Franklin X40 Performance, around $45. But the real angle is who Franklin actually is. They're the official ball supplier for USA Pickleball, and the X40 is used at the US Open Championships in Naples, Florida. This is a company in the room when tournament directors decide what the game requires. And they sell a paddle for $45. It frequently bundles with X40 balls for $45 to $55 total. Meaning if you need balls anyway, you're effectively getting the paddle for $25 to $30. The next 3 paddles do something premium brands don't want discussed. A documented blind test showed 3.5 level players couldn't distinguish a $49 paddle from a Selkirk at $130. And the number 1 uses the same carbon fiber grade as paddles at $250. Stay with me, it's worth the wait. Number 4 is the Nupopo Composite Pro, around $49. Carbon fiber composite face, polypropylene honeycomb core, USPA approved. Over 10,000 verified reviews on Amazon, one of the most statistically reliable samples under $60. Blind tests on our Pickleball and pickleballkitchen.com placed it within margin of error against the Selkirk Latitude at $130 at the 3.5 level. Players could not tell which paddle was which. Here's the dark angle. Major US brands have spent years associating Chinese manufacturing with inferior quality, despite over 90% of all paddles, including Selkirk and Jula, being made in China or Taiwan. You are paying for American marketing, not for a better paddle. Number 3 is the Vinsquire Advanced, around $55. Textured carbon graphite face, polymer honeycomb core, perforated tournament-grade grip. That texture is not cosmetic. In 2022, USA Pickleball regulated surface roughness after professionals began using illegal roughening techniques. The Vinsquire sits at the legal maximum, and research shows this increases friction at contact by 18 to 24%, translating directly into spin. The big brands charged $150 to $165 for this exact feature. The Vinsquire delivers it at 1/3 the cost. That perforated grip matters especially in Florida, Texas, and Georgia. The top 3 states by court growth, where moisture control is the difference between grip and a paddle slipping out of your hand. A blind test couldn't separate a $49 paddle from a Selkirk at $130. If that confirmed what you suspected about this market, leave a like. Not subscribed yet? Do it now. The number 1 paddle is up next, and it'll change how you think about carbon. Number 2 is the 11 SP Genesis, around $59. 3K carbon fiber face. Polypropylene honeycomb core, 8 ounces balanced, USAPA approved. 3K carbon fiber means 3,000 filaments per bundle. The same spec found in Boeing 787 fuselage sections and bike frames costing $2,000 to $5,000. 4.7 stars held across 3 consecutive years, 2021 through 2024. Amazon aggressively filters fake reviews. A 4.7 sustained over 36 months is one of the strongest organic quality signals in e-com. A11 runs 0 influencer deals, 0 PPA tour sponsorships. The only reason you've never seen this paddle on YouTube is that the creator economy systematically buries brands that don't pay for placement. Number 1 is the UTQ Carbon Fiber Pro, around $69. Raw carbon fiber face, 700 specification, polypropylene honeycomb, core, elongated shape, USAPA approved. Toray is the world's largest carbon fiber producer, supplying NASA, the Airbus A350, and premium brands like Jula, Selkirk, and Engage. The Jula Hyperion retails at $250 with a carbon fiber face as its primary differentiator. The UTQ uses the same 700 grade at $69. Raw carbon fiber means no coating, no lamination. The weave is directly exposed. That is the highest friction surface legally possible under USAPA regulations. Not a budget compromise. 4. Spin. It is the technically superior choice. The elongated shape, 16.5 by 7.5 inches, means a longer lever arm, more power per swing. Basic physics. Torque equals force times distance. Most top 50 PPA Tour professionals use elongated paddles. Here's the angle that explains this entire market. Jula entered pickleball in 2021 after 70 years in table tennis. They signed Ben Johns and Annalay Waters, the number 1 ranked players in the world, and launched the Hyperion at $250. Before Jula, the psychological ceiling was $150. They raised it to $250, which made $69 feel like budget. You are not choosing the affordable option. You are refusing to pay for Ben John's Instagram. Before you buy, here is the honest protocol. Go to ucpickleball.org and run their official self-rating guide. If you rate below 4.0, and USA Pickleball estimates 80% of rated players do, any paddle on this list works for your game. For climate, Florida, Texas, Georgia, or Arizona players should treat the perforated grip on the Vins gear as non-negotiable. Cold weather states benefit from polymer core. And if you are managing tennis elbow, polymer honeycomb is the joint safer choice. 6 of the 7 paddles here qualify. The Rally Meister is the one exception. Let's do the actual math. The UTQ at $69, played twice a week for 18 months, equals 144 sessions, 48 cents per swing. The Jula Hyperion at $250 runs $1.74 per session, 264% more expensive. Over a 10-year career, replacing a paddle every 18 months, that gap across 6 to 7 replacements saves between $1,080 and $1,400. That is a weekend trip to the US Open Pickleball Championships in Naples, Florida, flights, hotel, entry fees. From one decision. Pickleball was invented in 1965 on Bainbridge Island, Washington. Joel Pritchard, a U.S. congressman, Bill Bell, and Barney McCallum set it up on a badminton court with ping-pong paddles and a perforated plastic ball because the shuttlecocks had gone missing. The first paddles were iron-made in each deck, brown rack, homemade plywood, literally free. The premium paddle market is a product of the 2010s. Specifically, the explosion from 3 million players in 2019 to 36.5 million in 2023. The narrative that you need a $200 paddle is less than 10 years old. The sport is 59 years old and it was born on cheap equipment. There is a real social dynamic happening at courts right now. Paddle shaming. Players with premium paddles making dismissive comments about budget gear during open play. It is well documented on Reddit and local Facebook groups across Phoenix, Tampa, and Denver. Ben Johns earned his first national ranking without signature equipment. The sport's roots are egalitarian. For the guy who is 40 plus and knows the difference between paying for quality and paying for the logo on top of quality, These 7 paddles are the fishing rods that outcast tournament gear and cost less than the tackle box. The sport started with plywood. USAPA approval is the great equalizer. 7 paddles, $35 to $69, same tournament standards as $250. If this saved you real money, hit like, comment which one you're trying and subscribe. Next video, what the pros actually use off camera.